So, if you are offering free shipping, or at least considering offering free shipping, and have never sat down to calculate the impact of that offer on your profit, sit down, this video is for you. You are in for a big surprise. To begin, I'd like to say that I do understand the rationale for offering free shipping. After all, it lowers the barrier to purchase that some customers may have. Some people just won't buy without free shipping. And it can increase the average expenditure per order because people try to meet the free shipping threshold. Now, whether that actually results in people buying more or just grouping more orders together and therefore decreasing your shipping and handling costs, it is a positive thing. So I do understand the rationale behind offering free shipping, and I do think that it might be a good thing in some situations. However, you have to be careful with it because it can ruin your business. And we will use an example to see exactly how. Let's assume that we have an online store selling a physical product, and currently, we offer free shipping on purchases of $36 or higher, and on purchases below $36, we charge a flat rate of $5. We have a gross margin of 25%, meaning that for every $100 worth of sales, $25 are our margin, and $75 is what the product we are selling cost us. Note that we are not considering the cost of shipping here. Our shipping supplier charges exactly $5 per delivery, regardless of weight, and that's the cost we pass on to the customers below the minimum purchase threshold of $36. The big question then becomes, by how much would a sale need to increase to compensate for the free shipping? And to understand the impact of the free shipping on our profits, we would have to see what happens to our contribution margin above and below the free shipping threshold. And if you aren't familiar with the contribution margin concept, I have a video about it that I link below. But for now, just think of it as the money that you make from each sale without considering fixed costs. So it's really how much money you make from each sale to cover fixed costs, and after fixed costs are covered, it's by how much your profit increases with each and every sale, without considering tax. That is. So let's see what would happen to our contribution margin per sale as the value of purchases varies. In the first row, we can see hypothetical sales values ranging from $16 to $55. And I'm inserting a line here to denote a barrier between sales of $35 and $36, which is the value above which we would be offering the free shipping. In the second line, I'm showing how much the goods we're selling would be costing us. We know that we have a gross margin of 25%, so the cost of the goods we're selling is 75%. And that's what you can see represented in the second line. Then, if we subtract the cost of goods sold from the revenue we get from a sale, we get the gross margin we're making from that sale. And that's what you can see in this new line I'm inserting here. And the interesting thing to note now is what would happen if we added the impact of free shipping. So, if we look at this from the perspective of our profits, below $36, the shipping cost has no impact on our profits because our shipping supplier charges us $5, but we pass that cost on to the customer. That means that the impact of the cost of delivery on our bottom line is zero. And that's what you can see in this new line I'm inserting here. However, on purchases of $36 and above, we do not pass on the cost of shipping to our customers, so that cost must come out of our profits. That's why in this line I'm showing the impact of delivery on orders of $36 and above has a negative impact of $5 on our contribution margin. Finally, in this last row, you can see the contribution margin per sale we would have with each one of these sales, assuming that we will have no other variable costs per sale beyond the cost of delivery. So, have you spotted the pattern here? Have you? Let me show you. I bet it's clearer now. The thing is, to cover the $5 cost of shipping you are offering for free at $36 and above, you need to increase your sales by $20. Now, why $20? Where do those $20 come from? Well, Remember when I said that we had a gross margin of 25% and that our shipping costs were $5? Well, you see, in order to give away $5 in the form of free shipping, those $5 have to come out of our margin. And since we know that we have a gross margin of 25% of our sales, for us to make $5 of margin, we have to make a sale of $20. In general, what we have is that the increase in sales needed to compensate for the free delivery is equal to your delivery cost divided by the percentage gross margin. And that's where the required $20 increase in sales comes from. It's the $5 of shipping cost divided by the 25% gross margin. $5 divided by 25% equals $20. And that's why we need to increase our sales by $20 to compensate for giving away $5. Now, two important considerations. The first one is that depending on the percentage of our margin, the impact of giving away free shipping can be huge. In this case, because we are working with a gross margin of 25%, to compensate for the delivery cost that is coming out of our pocket, we need to increase the sales by what the delivery costs us multiplied by 4. And if you're not into math, that's just equivalent to dividing by 25%. But if our gross margin was 10% instead of 25%, we would need to increase our sales by $5 divided by 10%. That's $5 times 10. We would need to increase our sales by 10 times our delivery costs to compensate for the free shipping offer. And the second important consideration here is that above the $36 threshold, free shipping isn't an incentive for the consumer to purchase more. Customers are as motivated to spend $100 as they are to spend $36. So, while below the minimum $36 threshold, the free shipping can serve as a motivation to spend more and possibly increase the sale by the required $20 to compensate for the free shipping, those who are going to spend over $36 anyway aren't any more motivated to spend any more. So the relevant question now becomes, does offering free shipping increase my average sale by more than $20? If it does, then great, let's offer free shipping. And if it doesn't, we will need to do one further analysis. This leads us to a new question. Will the cost be compensated by selling to more people that wouldn't have bought because of the shipping cost? So, if we come to the conclusion that our average dollar per sale isn't likely to increase enough to compensate for the cost we are having because we are offering free shipping, it would be time for us to see whether, despite having a lower margin, the number of sales would be higher enough to compensate for offering that free shipping. And to analyze this, we would have to see what happens above the $36 threshold with or without free shipping. We need to see by how much the sales are increasing when we offer free shipping and when we don't. Let's look at our numbers again. Notice that while without free shipping you could make $10 with a single $40 sale, with free shipping you will need to make two $40 sales to get to the same $10. That's a required 100% increase in sales of $40 to get to the same profit. And while a $60 sale would have made you $15, with free shipping you'd only get $10. So, to get to the same $15, you need to make 50% more $60 sales. Even in the case of a $90 sale, to compensate for the shipping costs, you would need a 29% increase in the number of sales at $90 to compensate for the loss in margin. Remember that we are assuming that above $36, free shipping won't make customers spend more. So, can you really afford to offer free shipping? Or are you working just to cover your free shipping costs? Note that the point that I want to make here isn't that you should not offer free shipping. It does have its benefits. You are the one who knows your business, your margins, your customers, and you may have very good reasons to offer it. And in any case, you shouldn't be taking any advice regarding what to do and what not to do with your business from someone who knows nothing about it. But, regardless of whether you offer free shipping or not, I do think that you need to make an informed decision. And that means taking into account its full impact before deciding on making such an offer or setting the minimum threshold above which you'll be offering. Otherwise, you risk working just to cover your shipping costs. So tell me, do you offer free shipping? And did you make any of this type of calculations before offering it? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye!